bonjour à tous. On va démarrer notre première session de panel maintenant sur la thématique des effets du changement climatique en agriculture. Hi everyone, we will start our first panel session right now. We will talk about the effect of climate change in agriculture. Alors, je vais présenter mes deux intervenants aujourd'hui. Il s'agit de Rahim Ismaël du Nigeria et de Abdourahmane Diop du Senegal. So I represent my two participants today. It's Rahim Ismail from Nigeria and Abdourahmane Diop from Senegal. So I will give 5 minutes to Rahim for the presentation, for this presentation, and to Abdourahmane too. Donc je vais donner 5 minutes à Rahim et à Abdourahmane l'occasion de présenter leur profil et leur parcours. We can start by Rahim. Smile.
Okay. Thank you very much, the moderator. The moderator has been introduced. My name is Rahim Ismail from Nigeria, and we'll be talking about the effect of climate change on agricultural practices. Particularly, I'll be looking at Nigeria from here because there are some peculiarities that may differ from country to country. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate the organizers of this program for coming up with this initiative. It's timely and it's also very, very good at this critical time of our existence. While I go into the presentation proper, I must say that agriculture is a critical sector of Nigeria economy, and it's one of the areas of our lives that contributes. Hello, can you hear me?
We don't hear you well. It's like.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, is there another person that is not hearing me well there? Please?
We hear you actually.
Okay. So, as I was saying,
so just speak louder.
Okay. I said agriculture is one critical sector of Nigeria economy that cannot be overemphasized, but because it has contributed immensely to our development generally, looking at it from generation of revenue to the government, food security to the masses, and as a means of sustainable livelihood to a lot of persons, population of Nigeria. So, in essence, we'll be looking at some effects of climate change, some peculiar effects of climate change on the agricultural practices in Nigeria. So, Nigeria, we'll look at it from three different points of view. I'll look at it from the rising sea level, Nigeria boundary, what's it called, the Atlantic Ocean flows into Nigeria boundary, and with some other water bodies also in the country. So it has some great impacts on our agricultural sector. We have experienced destruction of farmland as a result of rising sea level in the country. We've seen a situation whereby livestock were being wiped off of existence due to the rising sea level, because when sea rises, it starts to evaporate. It extends to other environment that are close to the water body, and it has a great effect on the existence of people living in those areas, especially those people that are engaged in agriculture.
Before talking about all this detail, can we start the can we take a moment for Abdou to make this presentation first, introduce himself before talking about the effect of So Abdou, je vais te laisser la parole pour te présenter.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So thank you for giving me the floor. Hi, Rahim Ismail. I'm happy to do this conversation with you and Maria as well. And, I would like also to thank you for this invitation to discuss about this very important subject, which is the effect of climate change in our.
Oh, now 2 in 1.
Abdou?
Abdul is actually having an issue with this network. So Ismail, let's talk about the effect of climate change in agriculture. Can we talk about the context again?
Oh, okay, okay. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
like I was saying, okay, it's back. I think it's back.
Okay, Abdul, on peut continuer?
Yeah, sorry for this introduction. This is due
Okay.
to the connection.
No
So
problem.
as I was saying, I'm Abdurrahman from Senegal. So I'm an agricultural economist by training, and currently I'm working as a program manager at ESL AgriUp. ESL AgriUp is the first agri-tech hub in West Africa, and we are focusing on bringing innovation in the agricultural sector by empowering youth and women in rural areas. We try to help them to structure their project, but also to link them with potential customers and potential founders too. And I'm happy to be there to discuss about this subject. So I think we can go directly to the subject.
Okay. So Ismail, can you give us the context about the effect of climate change in agriculture in Nigeria?
Okay. Sorry, like I was saying, I said I was going to be talking about three manifestations of climate change in Nigeria, and particularly I will be looking at rising sea level as one of the areas I will look at. I will also look at the prolonged dry spell, like when you don't have the timely rainfall, or you don't know when rain is definitely going to come up as a result of climate change. And lastly, is also we are talking about the unpredictable rainfall pattern. Yeah. So all these three manifestations, they are peculiar to Nigeria environments, because Nigeria is divided into two different environment. Like we have the dry land and we have the wetland. But specifically, the rising sea level is as a result of our closeness to the Atlantic Ocean, which flows into the Nigeria boundaries and also forms some other water bodies in the Nigeria environment. So, like I said, people live around these water bodies, and the implication of having rising sea levels on their practices is that whenever the sea rises like that, you experience destruction of farmlands, because the water overflows from the existing environment and spread onto where people are actually living, and onto their farmland also, where it tends to wipe off some farmlands and also some farm equipment. Also, we've also experienced situations whereby livestock like cows, sheep, and poultry were also wiped out of the systems as a result of flooding and drought. You know, when rising sea people that surround the water environment too. And particularly, you agree with me that our soil, like the land that we plant on, and let me say agriculture planting as an activity in agriculture, requires some nutrients to also germinate, to make our seed and seedlings germinate in the soil. So some of these nutrients are the nitrogen, some of these nutrients, hello,
We hear you.
hello.
We hear you. You can
Okay,
continue.
some of these nutrients are the nitrogen, potassium, we have calcium and iron. So whenever sea level rises like that, where it tends to extend to the lands where we plant our seeds and seedlings, it tends to wash away the substrate also, which has a great implication on the yield and productivity of farm operations also. It's also a build-up effect on diseases and infection. You know, when water extends to where people live, it wash and it comes with diseases and infections on, and it affects the production also. Let me say the farm activities of some of these farmers in some rural communities also, and those people that deal with fishing, those people that does fishing as a farm as an what's it, agricultural practices also. During this period, they won't be able to actually carry about their activities on the sea because the sea will not be stable, there will be storm. And their fishing vessels sometimes would lose control. They lose their crew and their fishing vessels along the line. So secondly, as I was saying, let me give you some particular figure. In 2020 particularly, there was an unprecedented level of flooding in some of the states of Nigeria environments where we have the loss, total loss of like 16.9 billion as estimated as a result of the flooding, which can also be related to the rising sea level also. And one of those things that was actually affected in this process is the washing away of farmlands. 3 years down the line, in 2015 also, we also had incidents in a particular state of the Federation where 4,500 farmland were also washed away as a result of this flooding that come about as a result of rising sea levels also. So those are very alarming figures that has multiplying effect on our economy at large, and agricultural practices in particular. And also, I want to talk about.
Okay, so let's
Hello.
go to Abdulrahman. So Abdul, can you give us an overview of the situation of agriculture, the importance of agriculture in Senegal, and the consequence of climate change in agricultural practice? Donc Abdul, est-ce que tu peux nous donner une petite idée de l'importance de l'agriculture au Sénégal et des effets du changement climatique dans les pratiques agricoles?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Marie, for this question, and also thank you, Ismail, for this introduction. It was so important, and I have noticed that we are sharing a lot of impact in terms of climate change. So from my perspective in Senegal, so it is important, I think, to understand the structure of our agriculture, since 60% of Senegalese population is involved in the farming activities. So you can imagine now what the climate change, how the climate change can affect our agriculture. And the fact is also about 87% of the Senegalese farmers depend to the rain to do their activities. So 87% of the farmers depend to the rain-fed agriculture. So you can imagine how the Senegalese agriculture is dependent toward the rainfall. About the consequences of climate change, we can take, I think, the key factors of the agriculture, like the breed, the livestock, the agriculture, and also the fishing activities. So about the agriculture, we have seen a drop in terms of rainfall, and this affects a lot of farmers that do not have enough rain to do their activities. And you can also imagine that there will be a decrease in terms of production. Because as I was saying, our farmers depend a lot toward the rain to do their activities. For the fishing activities also, climate change have impact in terms of the rising of the sea level that affect farmers and also affect also the fishing activities. About the livestock, so as Ismail was explaining, the fact that there is a decrease in terms of the rainfall affect also the availability of resources to feed the livestock. I think there is someone doing some noises. Are you hearing me well? Hello. can you mute some?
You can continue,
Hello?
Abdul. Tu peux
Oh,
continuer.
okay. So in 3 years ago, I had this chance to participate in one evaluation program, and we have seen that several years ago, farmers will think that like the climate change is just a machination from Westerners, but now they can see the real impact of climate change in their daily activities, whether it is farmers, whether it is breeders or the fishermen, they see the impact of the climate change in their activities. The long-term effect is that the climate change also have impact on the availability of food, both in rural areas than in urban cities. But also with the rising of the sea level, some fish, some fishermen, some local fishing communities have forced to relocate from their from the villages or the cities, and the long-term effect of this will be that these fishing communities will just lose their let's say their cultural value, but also their identities, because they are known as communities that have developed a huge set of knowledge, but also experiences to do fishing. And so I think I will just stop here, and
Okay.
then maybe if there is some question, I will come back.
Okay. So Ismail, you can continue your presentation about the effect of climate change in agricultural practice in Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mari, and thank you very much, Abdul. That was, I can actually identify some area of alignment with our experiences in Nigeria and that of Senegal. So I was going to talk about prolonged dry spell. Prolonged dry spell is a situation where farmers expect rain to fall, but the rain didn't fall on time. So it affects livestock farmers, and it affects farmers that deals with plantings of crops, food crops also, because the larger population of Nigeria agribusinesses are actually informal. So as such, most of them depend on the natural water, I mean the rainfall that comes from heaven to actually give their crops or their animals some water to survive. So the effect that this has on their operation is that sometimes livestock farmers they don't find water for their animals to drink, and so in some other situations, green pastures like grasses were dried up, and you will see livestock farmers will get green what's it called grasses for their animals to feed on. And also, if you look at some other people that work at the medium scale, I mean, at the production level of agricultural businesses, when you look at people that store root crops and vegetables for some period of time, maybe as a result of maybe they want to process them to another product or so, because there is no water, some of these commodities and let me say agricultural products tend to lose their values as time goes on, because they don't have access to refrigerator to actually store some of their vegetables or some of their root crops, and they don't have access to improved facilities also to preserve some of these commodities in the dry seasons. So unprecedented rainfall, as I said earlier, a larger percentage of farmers in Nigeria depend on rainfall to actually feed their, let me say, crops or their animals. So it's basically rainfall, and they lack mechanization. Therefore, the weather, the variation in the weather condition of Nigeria in some cases actually affects their productivity and some of their yields going forward. So the implication of this altogether is that some of these farmers lose their occupations and let me say livelihood, you know. Some of them depend on all these activities to feed their families, to pay school fees, also to do some basic things like paying house rent and all that. But as a result of some of these reduction in their activities, they tend to lose their occupation and their livelihood. And it increases the level of poverty, hunger, and unemployment in the country. Also, going forward, if animal doesn't have access to feed on green grasses, they tend to also lose their weight, and this reduce the meat production and dairy production in circulation. You know, if animals, let's say like cows, sheep, and some other animal that depends on green plants, they don't have access to all this at the time they need it. They tend to lose their weight. And you see that some cows that are supposed to be as big as, let's say, some level of kilogram before, would tend to lose their weights. And when the farmer wants to take those cows to the market for sales, they tend to price them low. It affects productivity and the overall output of that particular farmer also. And generally, it affects the food security of the population. I would like to also stop there and maybe if there will be some questions from our participants, we'll be able to have a further discussion to that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Abdul, what do you suggest about we talk a lot about the problem. So do you have some suggestion about solution to address this problem? Est-ce que Abdou, tu as des solutions? On a beaucoup parlé des problèmes de l'agriculture, des effets du changement climatique sur l'agriculture au Sénégal et au Nigeria. Penses-tu qu'il y a des voies de solution par rapport à ces problématiques?
Thank you for your question, Marie, and Ismail too. I think it's important to know the place of agriculture in our economy. So as I was saying in the beginning, 60% of the Senegalese population is involved in this sector. And also we know that the farming is most practiced in rural areas where, according to the World Bank, 95% of the revenues of the rural household comes from agriculture. So, and agriculture is not only a source of food, but also agriculture is also a source of economy for rural household. Climate change affects this household because when we take the water parameter, we can see that in terms of rain, there is a variability, but also the late beginning of this rainfall. About the solution, I think I have noticed, for example, that when I was trying to have some document about the effect of climate change in Senegal, I have seen a lot of publication, but most of them were I found them so scientific that I found that it will be so difficult for a farmers to understand what are we talking about, because climate change is something that farmers have noticed in their activities, but it's important also to communicate with them in a proper manner so that they can take account this clear solution about these things. And I think this panel is a kind of contribution from young people, because I believe that we are the solution, and we have one tool that is so powerful, which is social media. And that is what we are trying to do now, because we are trying to discuss about this important subject. Senegal, we have maybe also other nationalities that have joined us in trying to find solutions. I think also that farmers through years have developed so much techniques and have also a set of experiences and knowledge that they have developed in order to face climate change. As I was saying earlier, 3 years ago, I have participated in an evaluation program for an USAID program that were focusing on bringing information, climate information to farmers. And I have noticed that during this study that farmers have developed a huge set of knowledge and experiences in order to predict the climate. But the fact is now, these tools, maybe they have to be improved. And how we can improve it is to bring research also in this part. So making sure that we connect farmers to the research so that this kind of knowledge can be shared with population, but also with researchers so that they can improve it to research in the field. But also as a young people, I think we need to put this subject on the global agenda. We need to use social media because we are more connected. We are connected. I have this chance. I'm currently in chess, and I have the chance to talk with my brother in Nigeria. I think we must use this tool properly and to talk about the changes that are happening, how these changes can affect our population, can affect our food, because we can't imagine a day without food. So I think we must take the action. I think young people are considered as the future of our countries, but also our continents and our world. So we have this power to create the future we want. I think we need to own our future. And the best way to do it is to put and push our political leaders to put climate change as a top of the global agenda. So this is a kind of solution I wanted to share with you.
Thank you, Abdul. Thank you so much. It's very interesting. So we will use this. We have actually 20 minutes for question and contribution for our different participants. So, si vous avez des questions et des suggestions que vous voulez faire passer au niveau du débat, vous pouvez les passer au niveau de la barre de conversation pour Abdou et Ismaël. Vos questions peuvent être bien sûr en français, que je traduirai pour vous. Vous levez juste la main ou vous mettez votre question au niveau de la barre de conversation. So, if you have a question or a suggestion, you can just put your question or your suggestion on the conversation zone, or you can just raise your hand and I will give you the floor. So actually we have a question from Nicolas. So it's a question for Abdou, but I think that it will be interesting for Ismaël too. Hello. Abdou, que penses-tu par rapport au digital comme solution pour l'adaptation de l'agriculture au changement climatique? So hello Abdou and Ismaël. What do you think about utilization of digital has a solution for agriculture, against the effect of climate change in agriculture? What do you think about the utilization of digitalization or informatic or digital skills? So we will start by Abdou, and after Ismaël.
Okay.
Just
thank
in
you,
2
Nicola,
minutes.
for your question.
So because we just
I'll
have...
try to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting question, because in terms of climate change, there is, I think, 3 stages. So the first one is to inform farmers, and once they have the information, they need also solution. They need to react. But once climate change is here, they need to have an adaptation. So for digital is so important because this is the best way to share information with farmers. And we know in Senegal there is project like ANASIM that have used digital in order to inform farmers about the rainy season, when it will happen, so that they can know when is the best time for them to start their activity. So I think it's important to use digital as a tool, but to also try to improve the digital literacy of farmers. And I think we can use this current generation of young farmers to share this kind of information so that farmers know what are the climate conditions so that they can start properly their activities, but also they the organization can use the digital also to share information about the best practices, because it is important for farmers to have this peer collaboration with other farmers. Maybe in Nigeria, there is some techniques that have been utilized by some farmers, and this solution might be a solution also that can be replicated in Senegal. So this kind of information through digital can be a huge asset for farmers, I think. Thank you.
Okay, Ismail?
Okay, thank you very much, Abdul. That was very insightful, and I also appreciate the person that asked that question. It's very, very relevant to what we're discussing. Yes, I will agree with Abdul also that it's very important that we try to introduce digitalization in the process of solving some of these the cultural problems that we are experiencing as a result of climate change. But like you said, it cannot exist in isolation. We actually need to adopt it alongside the training and retraining of our farmers. Because in the two different presentations, we've actually identified the fact that most of these farmers are the rural community, and they are still at the informal level. And most of them lack the advanced knowledge to actually understand some of the technicalities of digitalization. So it's very, very important that as far as we are going to adopt digitalization in the process of solving these problems, we should also consider training and retraining them on how to actually use all those digital platforms, or let me say digital innovations, because whenever we're looking at solutions, we also look at our end users and what is the percentage of those people that actually have the knowledge of those digital literacy in the farming sector. So it's not a standalone solution, but it needs to come together with training of all these agricultural actors also to be able to have impact on the society at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we have another question. Bonjour, c'est une question de Baymomar Awasek. Bonjour, je demande, est-ce qu'il y a des possibilités d'avoir des cultures qui s'adapteront au changement climatique? So it's a question for you and Abdul too. So hello, do you think there is some possibilities to have crops that adapt to climate change, culture that adapt to climate change? So we can start by you, Ismail.
Yes, thank you very much. I was going to say that in addressing some of these problems also, we look at it from 2 points of view. We look at it from the mitigating aspect of it, and we look at it from the adaptation aspect of it. A lot of companies abroad, and even some of our organizations, or let me say companies within the country, they are trying to invest so much in research and development. And what do they want to get out from research and development is to see how they can get improved seedlings, improve seed and seedlings for farming. And this is as a result of the variability in the weather condition of our environment. So they look at what crop, or let's say what seeds is going to be is going to yield well in this particular season, and what kind of seed is going to yield well in another season. So a lot of research going up in that line, and we've started seeing some of these we've started seeing some of the successes also. I can tell you that in Nigeria today, we have some rice seedlings, rice seeds now that you plant during rainy season and it will yield. You have good yield. We have some of this rice also type that you plant during dry season also that it will also have, you also have good yield from it. We also have some of them that you can plant at what's it called, on the higher altitude and it will yield well. We have some that you have to plant on the lower altitude, it will yield well. So those are the kind of improvement that we've seen over the time. That is good. That is as a result of research from some of our researchers to see how we can adapt to the climate change and also provide food security for the masses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ismaël. So I will just translate your response to for Momar because he wrote this question in French. So Momar, Ismaël dit que bien sûr c'est une possibilité d'avoir des cultures qui s'adapteront au changement climatique, puisqu'au Nigeria ils ont déjà développé par exemple des variétés de riz qui vont être implantées beaucoup plus en hauteur et qui vont pouvoir résister par exemple au fait qu'il y ait de l'eau qui peut gâter les cultures, etc. Donc ce sont des recherches qui sont actuellement menées et c'est vraiment une possibilité d'avoir une adaptation des cultures face au changement climatique. C'est quelque chose qui se fait déjà et qui peut continuer. So I will give the floor to Abdou. Abdou, what is your opinion about this question?
Thank you. Thank you, Ismail. It was so interesting to learn about all this innovation that are currently developed in Nigeria. For Senegal as well, also the government is working in the same field because we have noticed the effect of climate change in our agriculture, and our government and our research institutions are working on bringing solution to this climate change. And the most important part is about giving to the farmers the early seed varieties so that they can face this decrease of the rainfall, because we know in agriculture the most limiting factor is water. So if there is no water, it will properly lead to a decrease in terms of productivity. So our government is working with, and all the we can notice also from these last years that for every policies that our government is trying to implement, they have put also climate change challenges in the forefront of these different policies. So research institutions are so I think it is possible to do the production in even in this with the climate change. So we just need to use water properly, and we also try to have this kind of saving of water so that water will not be a limiting factor for farmers, but also for breeders. And I will come again with this question of digitalization, because we have seen also that there is some organization that are trying to develop some solution to allow breeders to have information about the point of water so that they can go directly to this point and then get the water they need or the grass resources they need. So I think it's possible, but farmers need to have this information from this organization, but also have this early seed varieties so that water will not be a limiting factor for them. So it's possible, I think.
Thank you, Abdou. Merci, Abdou. Donc, je vais te laisser traduire ta réponse de façon brève pour Monsieur Momar, donc en français.
D'accord. Ok, bon, ça va être bizarre de parler français.
So, Abdou will translate this response in French very quickly.
Je vais essayer de traduire rapidement donc, ce que je disais par rapport donc, à la possibilité de faire de la production dans ce contexte de changement climatique. Donc, je disais que le gouvernement a bien senti les effets du changement climatique sur notre agriculture, et essayer justement de mettre en politique qui sont sensibles au changement climatique. Donc, en mettant en place des distributions de variétés à cycle court et même le fait aussi de choisir des cultures également qui sont moins demandantes en termes d'eau, notamment le niébé que tout le monde connaît ici. Et également, il y a également même cette question de digitalisation qui est utilisée, donc avec des organisations qui ont travaillé sur des solutions où ils permettent, par exemple, aux éleveurs de connaître les points d'eau ou bien les meilleurs parcours de bétail. Comme ça, ils pourront en tout cas savoir les endroits, en tout cas, ou bien les lieux sur lesquels ils peuvent aller et trouver toutes les ressources dont ils ont besoin pour leur bétail. Ouais, de manière résumée, ouais, c'est ça que je disais.
Merci Abdou pour cette traduction. So actually we have not a question but a suggestion or a contribution. Great decision going here. Just to add that in Nigeria, the federal government in collaboration with the state government is already implementing the National Livestock Transformation Plan and the Green Initiative in partnership with the Brazilian government. Donc, grande initiative, cette discussion. Actuellement, juste pour rajouter qu'actuellement au Nigeria, le gouvernement, en collaboration avec les différents États, donc les États fédérés au niveau du Nigeria, a déjà implanté un programme national de transformation des stocks de produits et aussi une Green Initiative, une initiative verte en partenariat avec le gouvernement du Brésil. Thank you. Ismail, Abdou, we have actually 4 minutes. I was very happy to be the moderator during this session. It was very interesting to have this discussion about this effect of climate change and the effect of climate change in agriculture. So we have actually an overview of the situation in Senegal and Nigeria. You see that we have a lot of issue, actually, similar issue, and a lot of solution to address this issue. So it was very interesting to see how we can address this issue, how we can create collaboration between our country. So actually, we will just close this discussion by, if you want to address a message to the different participants. Alors, merci à Ismaël et merci à Abdou pour ce panel très intéressant sur les effets du changement climatique sur l'agriculture. La discussion a été très intéressante. Nous avons vu des similarités entre nos différents pays et les problèmes que nous rencontrons. Nous avons aussi parlé des solutions pour résoudre ces problématiques. Alors, Abdou et Ismaël, est-ce que vous avez un dernier message à nous adresser? We can start by Ismaël. If you have a message to address to this participant to close this panel session.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, Mahi. So I was going to say that this initiative is a very good one, like I said in the beginning. And I also encourage us all to see how we can partner together because in West Africa, there has always been this, let me say, polarization of francophone, anglophone countries. So it's good also when you look at how we can actually come together, collaborate, and develop solutions to most of our common problems in different aspects of life. Yeah, language can be a barrier, but you agree with me that today we've actually not been able to know that we have two different language-speaking countries having this conversation because we have somebody that can actually interpret what the other person is saying. And that means we can actually work together going forward. So I will, like I said earlier, I will encourage us to look at opportunities from the different two countries and see how we can actually collaborate going forward. Africa is our motherland, but we have to work together to make sure that we develop the continent. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ismaël. So I will just translate for the francophone. Ismaël nous disait que, en fait, dans nos discussions, on a cette barrière de langue qui est très présente en Afrique entre les anglophones et les francophones. Et il est très important de mettre en place ce type d'initiative en fait, pour encourager les discussions entre l'Afrique, puisque nous parlons différents langages. Il est possible d'avoir des personnes comme moi qui vont traduire pour certains, mais ce qui est important, en fait, c'est de développer la collaboration et les échanges entre l'Afrique. Et il est possible de mettre ensemble en place des initiatives pour, en fait, permettre à l'Afrique de se développer, de rendre l'Afrique plus grande. Thank you, Ismaël. So I will give the opportunity to Abdou to close this discussion. Abdou, est-ce que tu as un message à faire passer?
Okay, thank you, Marie. For the next time, I will say to my brother Ismail that next time it will be in French. So be ready for that. Just for our Anglophone friends. So thank you, Marie. I think it was so interesting to learn from Ismail, but also all the participants. Thank you for your question, but also for attending this meeting. It was so interesting. For my message, I think I will start where Ismail just finished. I think language is not a barrier since we have been able to have this discussion and we have been able to learn from each other. And I think it's important to maintain this kind of panel so that we can have more frequent discussion together, because I believe that the solution, we will be able to build solution by this kind of panels, because we can learn from each other, because some countries may have more advancement than another. So this is for me the best way to learn from each other, but also to have a clear solution about the climate change. And for all the participants, I think I believe that we are young people are the solution, as I was saying earlier. And I think we have to also we need to think and to be sure that even with little action we can create change. And it can start with using social media to translate all the scientific data that are available. And then we can share them with our farmers communities, but also other young people that are involved in the agriculture sector, because making agriculture more attractive to the young people is also a way for us to bring solution to the agricultural sector. So thank you, Marie, thank you, Ismail, and thank you all the participants for attending this meeting, but also for the question you have addressed also. Thank you.
In French?
Oh, okay, I was not ready for that. Ok. Donc, je disais que, bon, je vais commencer peut-être par là où j'ai terminé, peut-être pour avoir une idée de ce que j'ai raconté même. Alors, je disais que c'est important pour nous, les jeunes, de se mettre en tout cas en avant par rapport à cette problématique qui est le changement climatique, puisqu'en fait, il ne faut même pas sous-estimer même les actions qu'on peut faire en tant que jeunes. Et pour moi, le moyen le plus facile déjà, c'est d'utiliser les réseaux sociaux, puisque nous sommes une génération qui est très connectée, puisqu'en fait, même la langue n'est pas en fait une barrière pour nous, puisqu'on a pu tenir ce panel-là même avec des différences dans nos langages. Donc moi, je suis francophone, Ismaël est anglophone, mais on a pu quand même avoir un dialogue très intéressant, et j'ai beaucoup appris en tout cas d'Ismaël et de sa perspective au niveau du Nigeria et des actions même qui sont en train d'être faites. Et nous avons vu justement que nous partageons beaucoup d'impact par rapport au changement climatique, et c'est important justement d'avoir ce genre de panel-là pour pouvoir discuter, pouvoir apprendre l'un de l'autre, puisque selon les pays, on peut avoir beaucoup plus de progrès dans certains pays que dans d'autres. Donc, au lieu aujourd'hui de chercher à recréer la roue, on peut justement utiliser les solutions qui ont été utilisées ailleurs et qui ont marché, et qui peuvent en tout cas marcher chez nous également. Pour les jeunes et tous les participants à ce panel-là, je conseille en tout cas de ne pas sous-estimer aujourd'hui leur action. On peut commencer donc, comme je disais, avec l'utilisation des réseaux sociaux pour traduire en tout cas toute la documentation et toutes les données scientifiques aujourd'hui sur le changement climatique. En faisant des recherches sur la documentation et sur les résultats de la recherche, on se rend compte justement qu'une bonne partie de ces recherches-là sont encore trop scientifiques et très difficiles à communiquer, surtout pour nos producteurs, pour nos jeunes également, et que quand on n'a pas cette, disons, ce background-là de quelqu'un qui a travaillé sur l'agriculture ou bien sur le changement climatique, il peut être difficile en tout cas d'absorber tous ces concepts-là. C'est pourquoi on peut déjà commencer à utiliser les réseaux sociaux et ce genre de panel-là pour justement communiquer sur les changements climatiques pour que nous puissions en tout cas créer un futur qui puisse en tout cas être favorable pour les jeunes en Afrique, mais aussi dans le monde. De manière résumée.
Super. Merci beaucoup, Abdou. Merci beaucoup, Ismaël. So, thank you, Abdou. Thank you, Ismaël. It was a great moment of exchange, of collaboration between Senegal and Nigeria. I think that it's the end of our meeting. Merci à tous, merci à Ismaël, merci à Abdou. Donc, c'était un bon moment de collaboration entre nos deux pays. I wish that our collaboration will continue because it's very important to develop solutions together. Thank you all for your participation to this meeting and see you soon. Alors, merci pour votre participation à ce meeting. On se revoit bientôt. Je vous donne rendez-vous dans la suite du SN Climate Summit très bientôt. Bye bye.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.